Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Chronicles with us, the Red Devil Chronicle. This week it's our Christmas special. My name is Andy.
My name's Nicholas.
And we're throwing the rulebook out the window for Christmas. We're not going to go to United Chat. Instead, we're going to hear your views. Fan Takeover coming up next. Producer Joe got us feeling all festive there with that Christmas classic that
Very
no one's
good
heard.
keyboardist.
Lovely,
I didn't realise.
lovely song. Not quite such an epic intro to the show,
I've
but
been practising, Nick,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
on my keyboard. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, very
Brought
good.
it along this week.
Thanks, mate.
you've really pulled out the bag for Christmas. Well done.
Relevant,
and
isn't
you've got the Christmas jumper on as well, Joe.
I mean, it's a shame we
I
don't
didn't
have
know
a
we
webcam.
were doing that today.
I didn't either. I just kind of looked at
Swear
my
he
wardrobe.
wore that in October.
He did. He loves Christmas.
It's whatever falls out of my wardrobe at me first.
Excellent. Well, as I say, with it being Christmas and with us being frankly fed up of talking United, we've sacked off the United Chat this week. We're going to go straight in with the fan takeover.
And talk about United.
We're going to have to. Otherwise, we're a pointless podcast, I guess. But we're going to try and get the fans involved just to take away some of the burn from us having to talk about
what
it.
you're getting me for Christmas.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Okay.
Still asking.
Right, thanks.
Anyway, Monday, as we always do, 12 o'clock, we ask you some of the big questions and big debates around Manchester United. And I'm going to let a lot of the fans do the work in terms of the Bournemouth game. As we well know, Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 1. Couple of fan reviews that came in from the Fan Takeover Monday. At Cogsy666 says, injuries aside, it was an absolutely awful game. Had a whiff of Moyes about it. 1 out of 10 from him. Big C75 felt a lot like Moisey, 5 out of 10, recurring theme coming here. At C Clay, 1978 United, 1 out of 10, dismal, slow, lacking character and creativity, and that's just LVG. Another poor display, can't take much more. Pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Like that was the Bournemouth game in a nutshell.
I'm sorry to say again, it's Moisey. No. I don't know. It was an awful game, yeah, and I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest. But you need to take into account we did have quite a high number of injuries, so which obviously played a part in it. But I think a lot of it as well is the fact that you're not going to win a match when you've got 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds with no experience all over the pitch against a hungry team who've got the crowd behind them.
And they absolutely were, and they deserved the win on the night as well. Do you think, one-word answer, Nick, before we move on to our first guest we got on the phone, was the defeat against Bournemouth the worst performance we've seen since Fergie left, in your opinion?
No.
Okay, we're going to go into that in more detail now then. We've got Chris Clay on the line, regular contributor to the channel. Great to have him on with the Christmas special. Chris, good evening.
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Yeah, right, mate.
Yeah,
How's it
we're
going?
well. We're feeling festive. Are you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Festive as well.
That's what we like to hear. Chris, we'll knock the Bournemouth one out the way early doors, I think, and move on. I just asked Nick there, was the defeat against Bournemouth the worst performance we've seen since Fergie left? Nick says no. I'm inclined to agree with him as well. I'll go into more detail on my thoughts in a minute. 53% said yes, it was the worst performance they've seen, so over half thought it was.
I think that Liverpool at home was worse.
That's where I'd throw my hat in as well. Where do you sit on this one, Chris?
Yeah, no, it's not the worst performance. I thought the MK Dons, that were quite embarrassing.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, Fulham, Liverpool again, that were pretty poor.
There's a few in there, aren't there?
yeah, there is quite a few, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people on Twitter agree with you, I know. At One Love Man United says MK Dons. David Balfo says MK Dons / Fulham, as you mentioned, another one. Serious Ones went with the second game against PSV. I mean, there has been a hatful. And as you say, my personal nightmare, the Liverpool 3-0 at Old Trafford. What a disaster that was.
It was.
I thought he played very well.
United.
Against what, Liverpool or Bournemouth?
Yeah, that's what David Moyes said. I thought he played very well.
There you go. I'm giving up already. We've only been doing it 5 minutes. What made the Bournemouth game so bad in your opinion, Chris? Nick's just touched on injuries. I mean, I know you can't skirt over the fact that there were injuries.
Yeah, it's not an excuse.
What did it for you?
They had injuries as well, though.
They did. No, you're absolutely right. Callum Wilson was out. Max Gradle was out. some reason we've got Christmas music coming on in the background again.
Every time you start getting depressed, I'm going to bring this in.
Oh, thank you.
I like that.
I mean,
Well,
we've got Alan Hansen in the studio today in the form of Nick, can't win anything with kids, and you're just there, just being absolutely fed up. So I thought
one thing I would like to ask though,
Go on.
is Borthwick Jackson literally the slowest fullback in the Premier League? He's slower than Demick Ellis.
Good question. Good question.
He looks like he's sprinting, but it's in slow motion.
It is weird. It's kind of like the way Juan Mata runs, like slow motion cartoon
He runs
character.
like a sort of like a dad
Double
dance.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But what all joking and Christmas theme aside, what did you think went wrong in the Bournemouth game? Just to recap, in your opinion.
Well, I mean, I thought one of the questions you asked, which of the three are United lacking, and I wanted to vote all three. We lack desire, we lack attacking pace, we're just lacking in every department, and I think that's contributing to a lot of our performances lately.
Yeah.
And with the bench so, what's the word I'm looking for?
Depleted.
Motionless.
Yeah.
There's no passion there. Van Gaal sat there with his whatever, I don't know, is he ordering his wing Chinese?
Giggsy was the only one that stood up.
And even he gets told to sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And that it's got to feed back to the players, and then from the players to the fans. I think it's really, really worrying.
I think the cracks are starting to show. I think the dressing room's turning. You can see it from the outside.
And when we all know what happens when a dressing room turns.
What I see as the indicators for when a dressing room's slipping is when players start coming out and saying they're behind the manager. Fabregas did it a couple of weeks ago. Look where Mourinho's tonight. And De Gea today's come out in the paper and said everyone in the dressing room is fully behind Van Gaal. When that starts to happen, the doubts start to appear. I think the dressing room are turning on him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the dressing room has turned. Well done turning.
Yeah, absolutely. But you say, where's Mourinho? He's got 12 mil over Christmas, mate. It's not a bad little payday, is it? But Chris, a point you just touched upon there about lacking all three: depth, desire, quality. We put the question out there to see which the fans thought. 43% went with desire over quality and depth that followed respectively. If I had to push you for one that we're lacking most at the moment, where would you stand?
I can't remember what I put because I wanted to put all three. I think I put desire.
Right. It's a big thing.
It is, and that's what Bournemouth had.
No, you're absolutely right.
Similar to like Leicester play, they work for each other. They work hard, they push, they press players. They all know the role in the team. But they work.
And I have to say as well, I've got a big shout out for Harry Arter on the day, who we all know went through an immense personal tragedy in the week.
Yeah.
Thoughts are certainly with him and his family, but what a great deal of passion and determination, a show of what people are really made of at the toughest of times for him to step out, and not only just step out onto a football field, but to perform in the way he did as well was absolutely sensational on the day.
Yeah, totally admirable.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, we touch on all three being an issue. I mean, you've gone desire. I agree with you on that. We are also lacking quality and depth. It's fairly obvious. I mean, where do you think we lack the quality the most? Where would you be looking to go in January the most?
Creativity.
Agree with that.
And pace. I know we've got Martial, but that's it.
Yeah.
We're not using. I don't think we're using Martial's pace in the right way. I mean, we've discussed tactics and LVG, and we're not going down that road. Hopefully,
we're certainly not. No.
But I think we just lack that pace and that creativity.
Yeah.
We don't create chances. I think some stupid stat. We've created one second half chance in 3 Premier League games.
Do you remember that infamous stat from last season that we created less chances than relegated QPR?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same this season, I think.
It's the same problems repeated, isn't it? That's the embarrassment. But why is it, Chris, that fans can see it, but people like LVG can't? What's he missing?
I have no idea.
I mean, we've got our thoughts on what he's doing on his board, Chris. But I mean, what is he up to?
We'll put it this way.
As Alzheimer's crept in.
We'll put it this way. If we would have beat Bournemouth and we would have won, say, 2-1 away from home and scraped it, he would have been in the press room saying, I thought it was a very good performance. We dominated the game. Right. It's a load of crap. Like he can see it. Everyone can see it. Every man and his dog can see it. But it's a refusal to acknowledge it. And I think a lot of that stems from his ego.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and we've been down that road as well, haven't we?
Yeah, been down the mall, mate.
He is here for his ego, and that is it. And I think this banner, whatever, and I think the dressing room turning, I think a good result against Norwich, i.e. we get beat, and I never want to say that, maybe our board might react like Chelsea's.
God, you have turned, Chris.
Incredible.
Yeah, you have turned,
scenes.
yeah.
And I apologise for saying that to all United fans, by the way.
No, don't
No
worry.
worries.
Apology accepted. Chris, we said removing Deadwood in the summer was one of the few things that Van Gaal has actually done well since coming to the club. Everyone agreed with that, ourselves included. But how many of those players have actually been replaced properly? How many players are we away from, for example, mounting a serious title challenge, in your opinion?
5.
4, 5, I agree with that, yeah. But you say he's removed Deadwood. Some of that Deadwood have gone on and they're doing quite well. I'm not saying they would have done quite well in the United under Van Gaal.
I disagree with this argument.
I'm not a big fan of this Chicharito.
Everyone keeps piping up about Hernandez.
Intel.
The German league is rubbish. I remember
I agree.
A few years back, Schalke, who were 2nd or 3rd in the German league, were playing Chelsea, who was 6th at the time.
They got battered.
And Chelsea absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah.
So, the German league's a lot of crap. So he can be banging him in all he wants in the German league, but as far as I'm concerned, I wanted rid of him. So I was happy with Van Gaal did that.
I agree.
Yeah, I have. And people, like you say, and I agree with you, people are banging on that he's scoring goals. We've got to create chances for him to score goals, and we ain't doing that either.
You're quite right, Chris, and it's almost like you're here in the room with us, because Joe's just fired up a very interesting graphic on the screen in front of me here.
Do you want me to go through it?
Yeah, please, talk us through it, Joe.
So I decided to have a look at some comparison matrices on Squawka, and I thought, well, United, let's compare them to Chelsea in terms of chances created. So United got 123, and Chelsea have 177. And look at... I then thought, well, it can't get any worse, so I tapped in Bournemouth. and so I then came up with 160. So even Bournemouth have made more chances than us. I thought, well, I'll go dreadful now and choose Watford. And 145 to 123. So even Watford.
Even worse than this.
And then the last straw for me was probably I typed in Sunderland. And
Please God, no.
130 to 123 chances. So even Sunderland have more chances created than us. It's just ridiculous.
Thanks for that, Joe. Just whilst I'm asking the next question and just covering another topic with Chris at what his opinion on, could you do me a favour on this graphic? Could you replace one of those teams with Aston Villa at the bottom? I'd be really interested to see that one.
Yeah. I've lost my mic. There I am.
There you go.
Aston Villa. Let's get rid of Chelsea. They're not important anymore.
So they'll be in the Championship next season anyway.
Hold on, let's get it
We're
up.
going to bid for Hazard then.
I'd go for Hazard, yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh no, Chris. 130 chances, Aston Villa.
Sunderland and Aston Villa. Who'd have thought more than United at this stage?
Are we officially bottom of chances created in the Squawka League?
I mean, I'll have a look through for you, Chris.
We'll keep Joe on this.
We'll keep you updated on it.
We'll keep you updated if we find anyone with a lower chance creation rate than United so far. But worryingly, bottom of the league with, 6 points, Aston Villa. 130 to 123. Even they have created more chances.
Yeah, but they've got Gabby Abonglahor, mate. We've not got him.
He's got pace. We don't even have that. A bit, yeah, more than matter. Chris, though, would you, coming up to January window, if you're Ed Woodward, I know that's not a great position to be in right now, but if you were Ed and you've got January looming, would you give Van Gaal money to spend in January, or would you wait till summer, just leave it, accept the season is as it is, just try and get top 4, and then give it a new manager in the summer? Where would you go on that side of things?
I've always been sceptical of giving, even Alex Ferguson was sceptical in spending money in January. I don't recall him doing it that many times in his long career.
Yeah.
So I'm always sceptical of that. You get overpriced players. But with the Euro 16 coming up, you're going to get overpriced again.
You're quite right.
It's tough. It's tough.
69% said they were going to wait till the summer on the vote that we put out there, Chris. My only concern with
Nemanja
that
Vidic was bought in January for 7 million.
He was. Juan Mata was bought in January as well for a lot more, mind you. But Nick made a point to me the other day, which is certainly worth considering.
It was a good point, Andy.
It was a good point, Nick.
Cheers, mate.
How much of a gamble would it be if we didn't sign anyone in January to our top 4 ambitions?
Huge.
See, it is a good point, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is a good point.
Cheers, lads.
Yeah, you could have done with tweeting this one.
Yeah, you should have.
I didn't have Wi-Fi at the time, mate. My phone didn't set us work.
Poor phone.
You've caught me on the hop there. I don't think it's going to be that much of a struggle to get top four due to the Premier League or the state of the Premier League. I think we'll still get there, even with the football we're playing.
Right.
Going back to your question, giving LVG money in January, I don't think he'll be there in January.
Wow, big prediction from Chris. I'm gonna pull a phone. We've got another caller on the line. I didn't even realise. Joe just in my ear telling me. We've actually got Kev from the United stand waiting to speak to us. So I'm going to bring him in on the point you've just made there, Chris. What a bombshell to drop. Kev, welcome back to the show.
Good evening. You all right, lad?
How's it going, mate?
Yeah,
You all right?
well, are you okay?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Fantastic. Kev, I'm just going to bring you in on a point Chris has just raised here. We were just saying, would you give LVG the money in January to spend, or would you wait for another manager, or perhaps wait till the summer, see where we're up to in terms of management? And Chris says that he thinks potentially Van Gaal might not even be here by the end of January. Where do you fall on that, Kev? I mean, we haven't heard a lot from you of late. You've been quite under the radar. Where are you on Van Gaal at the moment?
To be honest, I think I've reached a bit of a crossroads with him. You only have to watch the football. I mean, the Bournemouth result for me was a bit of a turning point because I think it's just the football that we're playing. And for me, the players, we've got creative players in that team. And for some reason, the Van Gaal way, I mean, they're almost like robots. They're just programmed into this way where they occupy a certain area of the field and they just aren't. They're not allowed to express themselves, and it really is depressing to watch.
Right. One thing I want to ask you, Kev, while you're here.
Yeah.
To me, the Bournemouth game, I want to include a Moyes game that happened at Old Trafford, the Fulham match. That for me, that was a turning point where I wanted rid of Moyes. That game was a nail in the coffin. I sort of got a feeling with the Bournemouth game that was the same thing again. It was for me. It was a turning point for a lot of United fans. That game, a lot of heads seemed to be turned.
It's some of it, the decisions that he makes, they're almost baffling. I mean, for
Phil
me,
Jones. Yeah.
Fellaini was causing problems. Now, I'm not Fellaini's biggest fan, but at a stage of the game when we were chasing it to actually bring him off, I thought he was our only kind of threat, and a lot of things were going through him. But yeah, the Phil Jones one, and just certain managerial decisions that he's making at the minute. It really is a joke.
I didn't understand the 5 minutes to go and bring Phil Jones on.
It was bizarre. There's been a couple of them recently, though. Nick Powell on for Mata in the Champions League as well. There's been some really quite strange decisions made of late by Van Gaal. It's almost like he wants to get out of the club.
It's like he's out of ideas. He's just throwing someone on to
Chris, let me bring you back on this, Chris, so we can have your thoughts on this side of things. You've said Van Gaal potentially not here by the end of January. If that was the case, who's going to manage till the end of the season? Is it interim? Are you going permanent? Where are you going forward for United?
Well, I think the man's been sacked today. It was well documented in, I think it was Nick Robinson's documentary on leadership with Ferguson, and I think he had like a shortlist, and I think Moyes' fifth choice originally. Yeah, and I think Mourinho was, Ferguson's top choice, but obviously circumstances didn't allow that. He comes in and gives teams a shot in the arm wherever he's gone, and Ed Woodward's Galactico model that he wants to sort of like put into Manchester United, I think could suit Mourinho because he's not used to bringing youth through. So who knows?
I must admit, I didn't agree with sacking a manager mid-season. I didn't see the point in it, but the Mourinho dismissal, it has tempted.
It's a bit of a game changer, isn't it?
It's tempted me a little bit. Yeah, it's a bit of a. Like Chris said, a shot in the arm that we might need.
The thing is as well, when you look at it now going forward, I think you'll get a great idea from Chelsea over the next couple of weeks over the Christmas period to whether or not sacking a manager
mid-term
can work.
You don't become a bad manager overnight.
I agree with that.
I think a lot of those players let him down big time. I don't think he's a bad manager. I think he's a top manager.
There were some players that definitely threw toys out the pram, that is for sure. Kev, throw the question to you. You've got Ancelotti currently available. You've got Pep perhaps on the verge of leaving Bayern. You've got Mourinho sacked today, of course. Where would you go going forward? Are you leaving Van Gaal in at the moment? Are you looking to change it? And who would succeed from him?
I would leave him in for the moment. As I know the football's depressing. I want to at least give it until the new year. Now the big thing with Van Gaal is, and United will have a decision to make with this, is he's only going to be here another season. Now, if he reaches the summer, I mean, do you go and give him another 200 million to reconstruct that side, or do you go and get a manager who could be at United for the next 4 or 5 seasons and let him build a team?
How much does he need, though, Kev? That's another thing as well. People forget he's already spent a vast amount of money, and the squad needs completely redoing again.
He does, yeah. And it really is a decision that Manchester United will have to take, and that's why I don't think he would. I think come the summer, even if United qualify for the Champions League, which I think that they'll be delighted with, Ed Woodward will be delighted with at the board.
Yep.
I do not see him going past the summer. I think there's too many top-class managers available at this moment in time.
100% agree, Kev.
Me and Andy said this a couple of months ago. We were very brutal with it. We said even if LVG takes us on and we win the treble this season, in the summer we would have still got rid.
You've still got to consider it purely because, as Kev
He's
just
65.
says, there's that, and there's so many top-class managers. There aren't a lot in the game, but all of them seem to be available
right now.
Or in the summer.
And they're all 10 to 20 years younger than him.
It's very unusual that 3 top-class coaches, and we don't know, I think it's tomorrow that Guardiola will make his announcement. Potentially, you've got 3 top names, and for me, United cannot miss a trick with this one. We have to look at it. Football's a cruel business, but Van Gaal will only be there another season. United have to look a bit further on now.
You have to be selfish.
If they miss a trick. These managers are going to get snapped up by teams in the Premier League, our rival teams, and we just simply cannot miss a trick. I think Chris just mentioned before that the names that are available now were all like top 3 of when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and we missed a trick with that, and we went with David Moyes. We cannot miss a trick this time with it.
I just think if you break it down for what it is, obviously I do suspect Guardiola will go to City. I think the structure's there for him with Tixty Bergestein and other people that were at Barca, and I think Ancelotti is being lined up for the Bayern job. So the logical choice for United to snap up is Jose, and obviously he'll have a point to prove now.
Yeah, and the only reservation with Mourinho is the fact of the youth thing. The one good thing about Van Gaal is he's got a solid at the back, and he certainly is promoting youth. Now, whether injuries, has meant that he's had to blood a few more than what he would have liked to at this stage, but he is still doing it. Now, Mourinho doesn't have a track record of it, but I think Mourinho is a top-class coach, up there, one of the best managers in the world. If he comes to United, he'll buy into United and what United's history
totally agree with that, yeah.
is about.
I think he's always wanted the job, hasn't he?
I was about to say adaptability is one of his key points. Yeah.
And he has a track record of winning trophies.
Yep.
Ultimately,
the main criticism of Van Gaal for me, that he thinks he is bigger than the club, and he's never bought into the United way. It's his way or the highway, and I think that's where he's failing big time. Whereas
Chris,
Mourinho, if he comes in.
Just want to get Chris's word back in on this. In terms of the Mourinho side of things, how quickly do you think Mourinho could come into United and sort of, dare I say, in transition again? How quickly could he transition United from where we're at now into a title-winning or title-challenging team again?
I think his relationship with Fergie is vital with this, and from what people have heard and seen, he's got a fantastic relationship with Ferguson. He knows the United way, and I think, like you just said, he'll buy into that a hell of a lot more than LVG.
Yeah.
And we could see an instant impact literally within weeks.
Well, we used to go to teams under the Fergie way, and we'd have 40% of the ball, but we'd beat them 4-0, and the football would be amazing. Now we go to teams and have 75% of the ball, and we draw 1-1.
So, the only thing I struggle with, Chris, as we all remember watching, is Chelsea strolled the league last season, of course, won it at canter, and towards the end of the season, Chelsea were widely criticised as playing boring football. Would that not be a concern with Mourinho, that if things start to go downhill or if certain targets are met, that he has a bit of a habit of perhaps putting the handbrake back on, perhaps taking less risks?
Possibly. Did he not? Did he have that many creative players at Chelsea as compared to United last season?
I just think he plays the football he can. What team he's got with that Inter team he had, it wasn't a very good side, so he played very defensively. With the Real Madrid team, he had the likes of Ronaldo in there, so he could play a lot more attractive football. So I think you have to have the players to be able to do it, and so Mourinho obviously identifies that.
So let's end then. Before we do end the fan takeover part of the show, I just want to go back to a point we raised earlier, Chris. We were looking at the comparison matrix. Kev, I don't know if you heard any of this, but Joe was looking at the chances created list from Premier Premier League sides so far this season in the 16 games. And we managed to find 2 teams in the Premier League that have created less than Manchester United. Do either of the two of you want to hazard a guess to which of those 2 teams it might be?
They're both playing stripes, if that helps.
Ooh. Sunderland.
Newcastle is
Newcastle's
one.
yeah.
Sunderland have created more than us, surprisingly, Kev.
They've got,
Not surprised.
they've got Big Sam now, though, isn't they?
Another stripe.
Creative master.
Midland team.
Oh, West Brom.
That's the one.
Yeah, well
there you
done.
go.
Oh, yeah.
They're the only 2 teams in the Premier League that have created less than us. That's depressing, isn't
I
it?
think, Joseph, didn't you get a stat up as well there? Mesut Ozil's created 65 chances, so half
I was trying to find it. I was trying to find a player who
Half
created more chances than United.
but one player's created half of what we have.
Yeah, Mesut Ozil's created 65. We've created 1, 2, 3 as a squad. There's some worrying thought over the Christmas period.
Yeah,
Then.
65. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cheered me up. That.
There you go. Yeah.
No problem, lads. Merry Christmas.
Before I do let you go, lads, just a one-word answer from you both, and I'll get one from Nick and Joe in the studio. Next Manchester United manager for you then after LVG, Chris.
Mourinho.
Kev.
Ancelotti.
Nick.
Is this who I want or who I think?
Who you want?
Pep.
Joseph.
Neville.
Neville, interesting. I'm going Ancelotti as
I was
well.
going to say Steve McLaren then.
I was tempted, Nick. Mesut Ozil.
Chris said Phil or Gary.
Gary. It's got to be. He's getting ready. He's having a year off and he's coming back for us.
Why not both?
I think Giggs
Feel like
and
the
Gary.
Chuckle Brothers.
I think Giggs and Gary will be working together. I think it'll be great.
Gary. You're right, Philip.
Oh no, let's not go back to that Monday Night Football, please. Right, Kev, Chris, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Christmas special. Thanks very much for your time, lads, and all the best to you over the Christmas period.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, lads.
See you later, lads.
Cheers.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go. A feature then that we used to call Transfer Talk, we're now going to call it Louis Supermarket Sweep. It's the January sales, it's Louis van Gaal and Manchester United going out into the big, wide open world of the transfer market. A dangerous place to be in January, but a place that United need to be. Nick, we're going to have a chat through some of the big rumours that have been breaking as of the last couple of weeks, and I want to start with a question surrounding this mystery man. The Metro reported that Louis van Gaal is after a £74.2 million superstar, quote, to turn United's fortunes. Who could that be? Is there anyone in the world you could sign for £74.2 million in January that's a world superstar?
It won't be who I want. It'll be Muller. That's who I suspect it is. It's not going to be anyone from Barca or Madrid at that price. I think possibly Ronaldo, for what that's still a lot of money for a 31-year-old. I think it's Muller. I think we saw last summer the rumoured bid was around 60-65 million, so I suspect it's him. He's a big fan of him. I'm a big fan personally. I think he's a lot like Van Persie, that type of player. But 75 million, if it is him.
Would you push that out if it was Lewandowski?
Oh, Lewandowski, I'd pay 85. Yeah, I think that's a total different kettle of fish.
Let's hope that's behind the rumour. Could you imagine dreams coming true?
Muller's a strange player. He's very good, but I, for the life of me, I don't know what actual position he is. Is he a number 10? Is he a forward? Is he a winger? Is he a midfielder? Like, he plays all over the place. So for 75 million, I'd want an actual...
You want something nailed down in a position that we
Lewandowski
need.
is a number 9. He's going to play there every week.
And what we need is a proper centre forward, because the problem is we're putting a lot of pressure on kids at the moment in Martial, Lingard, Memphis to score the goals. We need proven talent.
We had a poor team back in 2012, but obviously Van Persie at the time lifted the entire squad, and that's what we need. We need a Van Persie of 2012. We need a Van Nistelrooy of 10, 15 years ago. You know, we need a type of player, Rooney of 8 years ago even. We need a player just to come in, lift the whole squad and just start scoring.
there's a big long list of players below the 74.2 million mark. Not so mystery men. A number of players that we could potentially get our hands on. How many we'll go for, I don't know. I'm going to list some names to you, Nick, and we'll see what we think on this. We've got anyone from Ian Robin. We've got Riyad Mahrez, Sadio Mane, Pato, Lukaku, Kane, even Bojan, as you were mentioning recently.
I'm a big fan of Bojan.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk through some of these targets then. How many of those are sort of realistic? Who would you want to go for in terms of attacking talent? Like, where would...
Are we talking just January alone?
Let's just talk January for now.
Well, I think you have to be realistic in January. You're not going to get a Kane in January. Even if you offer 100 million, they'll say wait till the summer. You're not going to get a Ronaldo in January. So you need to break it down for what it is. It's not the best of markets to shop in. Ian Robin is a possibility due to obviously his lack of game time in Bayern at the moment. Pep doesn't seem to fancy him, but then again, if we do sign Ian Robin, would Pep want to come if he is rumoured to be coming? Riyad Mahrez, he's already said, I think, publicly that he doesn't want to leave Leicester this season. He wants to see how far they can go. He didn't state that he wasn't open to it in the summer, but I think the only way we get him here now is an awful lot of stupid money, and I don't really want to pay that for a guy who's had one good season.
Do you think Riyad Mahrez has been the best player in the Premier League on current form this season?
Yeah. I don't buy this thing with Vardy. I think the main engine behind Leicester's push for the title this season is Mahrez. The guy's on another level to everyone else. We watched it against the Chelsea game. He scored a hat-trick, I think, the game before that. You know, people keep going on about Vardy, but out of all the goals Vardy scored, how many did he provide?
Yeah, I mean, this is it. Mahrez is creating a lot of it.
Yeah.
As you say, he's certainly been the engine behind it. Hat-trick against Swansea, as you say. That brilliant goal against Chelsea. He is capable of some special things. So he'd be a wonderful addition to the United squad.
Don't get me wrong,
at the moment.
You're talking upwards of 40 million.
Do you seriously think?
Yeah, I think that's how much Leicester have got wealthy owners. You know, obviously not the likes of Abramovich wealthy, but they are well off. I can't imagine them letting them go for 20 million.
And is this becoming a common problem now in the Premier League, Nick? That with teams becoming cash rich and obviously the TV rights money, teams are less inclined to need to sell anymore, aren't they?
Yeah, there seems to be, a lot more power in the force at the moment within the Premier League.
Don't go there.
No, small teams are big teams these days. That's a very Merson-esque quote. But the likes of Leicester, they can hold out for big money now. The only way we'll get someone like Mahrez in January is if the player wants to come, and I'm very suspected would he want to come.
Out of players available from the Premier League then, in terms of attacking quality, Mahrez, Mane, we've mentioned Lukaku, Kane.
Mane is probably the most likely, if I'm being honest with you.
And which one would you pick if you had the option of the four?
Anyone right now?
Yeah.
Mahrez.
Look what you've made him do now.
Well, we had to mention it, Andy. I'm sorry, we had to.
I'll just put it out there. I'm not a big fan of it.
No, Mahrez. If I could pick any of them, it'd be Mahrez out of that list.
Thanks for switching back to that.
Obviously, you've mentioned Pato as well.
Yeah. What are the odds of him coming over? Because he's playing in a poor Brazilian league again now.
It'll happen, yeah.
He's got to come to the Premier League, hasn't he?
He said publicly. I think he's at Sao Paulo. I think the Sao Paulo president or Corinthians, one of them. They've said that he wants to go to the Premier League. He said he wants to go to the Premier League. He's been injury-free for 2 seasons now. He's still only 25, 26. Would I have him? Yeah, because have we got anyone else? No. Would he change? Would he make us title contenders? Probably not. How much would he cost? Probably around 15, 20 million.
Yeah. And a question that we've got, we put out question time this week, which we're going to go into further detail on in News of the Social World. But there was a question came in that I wanted to cover during the Louis van Gaal supermarket sweep, as we're calling it. At Hash Balcazar says, is there any remote chance of us signing Lukaku in January?
Yeah.
You think there is?
Oh, yeah. If we offered Everton 60 million, they'd sell him. Would I pay that? No.
It's a silly amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the only way we're going to get someone like Lukaku. Obviously, he's on fire at the moment. Still don't rate him that highly. Still think he's blighted by inconsistency. I don't think he's going to be the next Drogba. Obviously, I hope I'm proved wrong. But no, the 2 players that I'd be looking towards in January would possibly be Mahrez and Bojan. They're probably the 2 players I'd be looking at.
Okay, let's touch on the defensive side of things then.
Nick, you've surprised me there. I would think you wouldn't want another striker from Everton.
Well,
you didn't have a great relationship with the first one.
I don't personally want him. Obviously, a lot of United fans would. I don't think he's good enough. I think he's a bit of a donkey personally. I think he's on
straight away.
Next quote
Straight
for
away.
this week.
No, he's the type of player that what he'll do, he'll score you 10 or 15 goals over a 2-month period. Everyone will say he's on fire. Then he won't score between January and March. So
His goals do come like buses. I agree.
He's like a Tommy gun. He'll fire 8 or 9 goals in, and then he won't score for 2 months. I'm not a huge fan. You know, if we can get him for 30 mil, I probably would. But apart from that, they'd want 45, 50 mil for him.
So as I say, let's take a look on the defensive side of things. We've focused a lot on the attack there. A couple of rumours that still just will not go away. Laporte rumours continue. Do you think Chris Smalling still needs a centre-back partner? Is that a position we need to strengthen? And how immediately? As immediate as January?
Yeah.
Because, has anyone accepted that Daley Blind is a centre-back, really?
Well, there was spurts of it. We talked about this a few months back.
He's played well.
When he was first playing there was a lot of United fans banging on about he can play there. He's world class. He's not.
He's done a great job there. I'm just not convinced he's a natural centre back.
No,
still.
he's not. You need power there. You need pace next to Smalling. Would I look at Laporte? No, probably not.
Where would you look?
I think when you're looking at Laporte, he's going to cost you an awful lot of money for someone who hasn't really played in the Premier League. I'd probably look towards a short fix in January.
Okay.
Probably draft someone in who would do a job, basically. I was a big fan of Alderweireld before he went to Spurs.
I think we missed a trick there.
I was a massive fan of him. I thought he played well for Southampton. I thought they've suffered this year without him at the back. They've had that Van Dijk instead.
Yep.
But in terms of January targets at centre-back, you are very... Ashley Williams, I'd possibly look at someone like that. You know, a really short-term fix, just someone who can go in there with experience and a bit of leadership.
So if you went short-term, are you thinking of going big in the summer then?
Yeah.
Splashing out?
Basically, yeah.
And where are you splashing? Where are you throwing your money?
I'm a huge fan of Varane, if I'm being honest with you. He's my favourite young centre-back, barring Chris, obviously, Mike, or whatever you'll call him. I think he's superb. Every time I've watched him, he's height, power, pace, he's got everything about him. He's still only 22 or something, 21. Obviously, you're talking a lot of money, and he'd want silly money in wages to leave Madrid. But I personally think he's gettable. I think if we offered him stupid money, which I'd be prepared to do because I'm not paying it at the end of the day, I think he'd come and have him slot next to Varane, next to Smalling. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point, and that'd be some young centre back force coming through Smalling and Varane, wouldn't it?
Well, I read somewhere. I think he's only on about €30,000 a week at Madrid, which if you put that in perspective, they'd want to keep him, obviously. And
of course
he probably wouldn't want to go at first. But
you look at the experience that kid has as well at his age.
Yeah.
You know, to have played already in a World Cup, you know, to have played at the highest level in the Champions League. You know,
exactly.
it's a perfect fit. It's whether or not we can make that work.
Yeah.
But
well,
very
I think
good
it's
signing.
unlikely, if I'm being honest. So I'd probably turn a bit more closer to home and I'll look towards John Stones, who, again, I've been very impressed with. Would command a stupid fee, but I think at 21, he's got the world at his feet. Put him next to Chris Smalling.
It's a worry. It's a gamble for the amount of money you pay, in my opinion. Of course they are. Of course. I just think you take some gambles slightly better than others. But I'm going to end the supermarket sweep with Patrice Evra. Nick, big favourite here on the Red Devil Chronicle.
Yeah, you know.
Any way he could return for a loan?
I'd absolutely love it. I was devastated when he left. No, he should never have gone in the first place. Right now he should be captain. If we'd have, for example, if we had Van Persie and Evra at Bournemouth, we wouldn't have lost the game. He would have drew 1-1. That's the difference. Their experience is priceless. It's something you can't buy. Evra wasn't just, he wasn't just an old head to have. He was a leader. He'd been through it all with Fergie. He learnt under Fergie, and Fergie said he was one of the most intelligent footballers he'd played with. We were stupid to let him go, I think, for what, 2 million?
It
insult.
Was ridiculous.
And then he went on to the Champions League final. And Van Persie as well, another one. Obviously, not having the best of times in Fenerbahce, but their experience you can't buy. And I think if we had them at Bournemouth, it would have been a different matter. But
inclined to agree with you. We are short, certainly at left back, so let's hope for a Patrice Evra. It is another short term, but let's hope someone like Patrice Evra would be wonderful just whilst waiting for Luke Shaw to come back to fitness. If you've got any other transfer targets you want us to discuss in future shows across Christmas and perhaps in the new year, do let us know at We Follow United on Twitter, as well with any centre-forward, wingers, any creative targets that you want. Who is on your Christmas list? Who do you want Van Gaal to go and shop for? Let us know. Next up, we're going to move on to some of the lighter stories, some interesting features to come up. We'll see how they get on. That's in the news of the social world coming up next. Wow.
That was horrendous, but let's move on.
Well done, producer Joe.
We,
Well done indeed.
do you not like that?
You
Can
never.
you not just get the keyboard back out?
That's what it was.
You went for the sax on that one. You went big.
I mean, a lot of songs have come out recently with saxophones, and I thought I'd get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, you well and truly jumped on it, and that was probably one of the worst you could have picked. But that's probably a good way of introducing the next
Well, that's why
feature.
it's a
It's
silly,
alright.
silly feature. So a silly music goes with it
I
nicely.
suggested we should sign Ashley Williams. I'm going to get some abuse for that. So
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that.
Cheers. Yeah.
Get those in at We Follow United comment section below. Now, of course, it is Christmas time. It has been miserable in terms of the football, so let's enjoy the lighter side of United. Got a couple of fun little polls and features, little bits and bobs to throw here and there. Just have a general sort of chat around some of the stories we've had from the news of social media this week. We're going to start with a poll that we put out there at this time of year, of course. Ahead of the big day itself coming up next week, we asked you, who would you like to go for a Christmas drink with out of Mata, Martial, Schweinsteiger or Ander Herrera? Poll results that came in suggest that 59% of fans want to go for a drink with Bastian Schweinsteiger over in a nice beer cellar perhaps over the Christmas period.
Oktoberfest.
Yep, 16% went for Herrera, 14% with Mata, and only 11% for Anthony
I
Martial.
mean, that's the opposite of what I'd say. It's completely wrong.
I just think Martial would just be really boring.
Schweinsteiger could just be pointing at get you to the bar every 5 minutes. So go and get me more drinks. That's all he does. Just dictates. Herrera just.
I just think
I don't
Martial
think there's
just
much
keep looking
conversation in
I
there.
just think he keep looking at his watch.
Mata, I mean, I could just see his little arms running around now. And Martial, I can imagine it'd be quite a nice chilled night. That it's completely the opposite of
It
what
would be a nice chilled night, and I personally absolutely love Anthony Martial. My concerns are, one of them, Nick points out that he might be a little bit like, looking at his watch and a little bit bored. I can't imagine he's the biggest talker, Martial, either, despite the fact that I do love the guy, as I reiterate. And also, my concern is, with the money that the guy earns, when he arrived to Manchester, he went to Wetherspoons.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
It's not the biggest night out at Christmas, is it? If I'm going out with a footballer, I want a big night out. I want to throw, well, not me personally. I want them to throw some money around. They're earning it.
You want to make it rain.
Maybe that's why they went
Make it rain.
Schweinsteiger.
Yes,
That's probably why they want Schweinsteiger, isn't it?
possibly.
The ridiculous money we pay him for a simple job.
I imagine with Schweinsteiger as well, you get the sort of 2-litre tankards as well. So you probably get a good few of those in, I reckon. And with a beer cellar as well, I think that's a good place to be at Christmas, isn't it? Very festive. I'm surprised. I was speaking to you about this, Nick. You were saying Schweinsteiger as well. You have a big love for the Spanish. Why no Mata or Herrera?
I didn't say I wouldn't go for paella with them. I just think if you're going to go for a drink with someone, you pick a German. Stay safe, stay efficient.
Very good point. Very good point.
Like I said, just a lot of pointing on that night out. It would.
I think the biggest concern
And
out of
you'd
the
probably
four,
go missing as well halfway through the night, and you'd have to search for him and you just wouldn't know where he's gone.
Well,
And then-
speaking of going missing, one Mata out of the four would be the biggest concern about going missing in the crowd at the bar.
well,
You'd send him in to go and get his round. He wouldn't come back, would he? Get
don't think-
swallowed up in the crowd.
sort of like his form this season.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. So there you go. Schweinsteiger is who most United fans would like to go for a drink with at Christmas, and I can't say I disagree with him. I know Joe does, but yeah, I think that'd be a good night out.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of nights out, of course, United did cancel their Christmas do, the later of the two. They were going for a two-parter. How cheeky is that? But they pulled, after going out of Europe, they pulled the second one. But they have still had a Christmas do. They had it early. And we wanted to know from yourselves who you thought would be the last man standing. The contenders, Wayne Rooney, Louis van Gaal, Smalling, and Nick put in a shout for Marcus Rojo as well. He's a big guy. Now, the poll results came in 47% Louis van Gaal, 33% Wayne Rooney, 13% Rojo, and 7% Smalling.
I can imagine Smalling's gone after one, to be honest.
He's a big guy, isn't he? But you can just see him being a lightweight.
Do
Especially
you
after
remember
his
LVG last
hands.
year?
Well, yeah, we all remember LVG last year. Do you remember Chris Smalling, though, when he was out injured in the middle of town?
And
I feel like
we'll do what we want.
I feel like LVG's already drunk, though, so I feel like it at every occasion. So, I mean, everything he says is slightly slurred.
I'm
So-
going with Rocco. I reckon the guy's been in bar fights in Argentina. I reckon he when he puts them away, he just gets really aggressive and goes really quiet.
Well, if you want a feature on MUTV, we're giving away ideas here. Get the 4 of them at the bar. Let's have a last man standing game.
Yep.
Centurion.
And see which
let's
one
throw,
Rocco
let's
hits
throw it out
first.
there. Let's do it. But
I'm sure that'll help our form out. A load of drunk footballers.
it can't be any worse, can it?
Didn't Rooney turn up to training drunk?
Let's not talk about that.
My best
LVG, though, he does wine. Louis van Gaal drinks wine. That's a totally different animal. Trust me, I know that. Like, you can't really compare. You know, if Louis van Gaal if the other players were on wine, drinking the same as Louis van Gaal, I guarantee the 47% that went with him are correct.
I just reckon if Vidic was still here, he'd just be drinking vodka at the bar straight, and he'd win.
Yeah, it's a fair point. If he came back, I think he'd have them all.
A lot of reminiscing tonight, Nick.
I know. I'm not...
Looking back on 2015,
I
it should be a New Year special rather than...
I think over the festive and New Year period, I think this is a time that you do look back on the year and
missing
think,
all the old heads,
where is Vidic, Ferdinand, Evra,
Van Persie,
Scholes, Van Persie, anyone that could do something a bit better
Cleverly.
for us. But yes,
Gibson.
I'm
just going to name players.
On a point that you made, though, Joe, and I made this point the other night on the United Stand show, do you think Louis has been lost in translation? For example, is there any chance that perhaps he asked for a lot of passion from the players and they misread it as possession?
You can only hope that's what's going on, can't you? I mean... De Gea seems to understand it. I don't really know why. He seems to.
Well, he can't have a lot of possession, can he?
Well, exactly. I think he's quite happy because he just thinks, "Oh, no one's going to score. I'm going to get the best stats in the year." So I think they're just playing for 0-0s. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. If De Gea understands it and no other player does, then surely we should be letting De Gea do team talks and.
I can't imagine him being the most charismatic.
Well. It's got anything. Just change it.
It can't be worse than Giggs, though, can it?
Well,
I've just got a scenario in my head of like we're at Norwich at half time, we're 1-0 down. You know, the dressing room's silent. Van Gaal sat at the end of the dressing room. He doesn't know what to say. Someone hiccups, then the door swings open. Fergie walks in.
Is he praying?
This is my vision. I had a dream. Like so, the door swings open. Fergie walks in, tells Van Gaal to get out.
The door hits a boot and flies into Memphis's eye.
Tells him to get
becomes
get out.
a better player. Goes to Real Madrid.
Moves to Real Madrid.
End of.
Yeah, and then the team go out and win 4-1. That's my dream. And then Fergie has another season.
Well,
I think you're getting delirious. Have you been on the wine?
I think so.
I wonder if he's going to stick with that in the score prediction in the weekend preview.
4-1. We'll see.
We'll see.
See
if he stands
Fergie
by that.
Gate crashed the dressing room at half time, 1-0 down.
I can ask the question for you on Betfair. I'll go on. Send a few emails for you and see.
Please do. Let's see what price we can get on that for Nick. Let's see if we can get him a good Christmas present because I'm not getting him one.
Thank you.
It's all right. Van Gaal, we're saying, potentially he does have to leave. It's something that we do have to look into. Does anyone know that Van Gaal actually has a worse win percentage now than Moyes at United? 51.43 plays 52.94. It's pretty depressing stuff, that, isn't it? I mean, how much more pressure would there be on Moyes if we were in this current situation right now? Would Moyes still be in charge of the club?
Yeah. He'd be gone 2 weeks ago. He'd be gone. He wouldn't be here. As soon as I think even Capital One, then when we started to lose there, Arsenal, people would be questioning it straight away.
I don't think
there'd be a plane flying around.
I think it was Fergie's choice. So I don't think he had as much
Fergie's fifth choice,
as much support or power as Van Gaal's got.
How easy is it, though, to distinguish what Louis van Gaal has said and what David Moyes has said? Going to run...
this should be good.
This is going to be good, yeah. We're going to run Nick and Joe through a quick quote quiz. I've got 3 each for both of you.
I'm not seeing this on my paper.
And you're not, because I've kept it secret from you, just so you couldn't do any research prior to the show. Now, I'm going to throw 3 quotes at you. All you have to tell me is if you think Louis van Gaal said it or if you think David Moyes says it. And Nick, I'm going to fire one
People
at you
like
first.
Cruz and Ramos.
Ilamendi.
Iramendi.
Is that one?
Unfortunately, that's not one. That'd have been a very easy point for you, Joe. Nick, first one to you. I don't know what we have to do to win.
Van Gaal.
Is the incorrect answer. It's David Moyes. It was Moyes.
I think Van Gaal said it as well.
They've all said
after one of the games, yeah.
One to you, Joe.
Right, okay. Right, I'm ready.
The job was always going to be hard.
Oh, right, okay. So this probably ties in with philosophy somewhere and 3-year plan. It's got.
I think.
Actually, I think Moyes said this after he got sacked.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Gone home.
It is David Moyes.
Oh,
It's 1-0 to Joe.
I'm sure they both said it.
It's just mirror of careers.
Here we go. That's going to be the twist at the end.
Okay.
Number 2 for you, Nick.
Yeah.
I thought we did an awful lot of good things.
I'm going to go Van Gaal again, because I'm sure he said that before.
It was Moisey again.
Oh, God. Not doing
Joe,
very well.
chance to stretch the lead.
Exactly. It's like playing against United at penalties.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Right. The performance was one of the best in my period.
No need for that. LVG.
It's a correct answer.
I knew that one.
Final one to you, Nick.
Thinking of the game it was as well.
Norwich.
All my passes failed today. I think it was because of the height and air.
That's got to be Van Gaal.
Yeah, of course it's Van
gotta
Gaal.
be
Yeah.
Van
That was an easy one.
And Joe, last one to you. You have won 2-1, but to stretch the advantage, every manager has bad days and bad results. I'm no different.
Oh, do you know what? I think
know
I
who that
remember
is.
this one as well.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And do you know what? It's really hard. This every manager has bad days, and I'm just having one. I'm gonna stick with LVG there.
It is.
It's David Moyes.
It's not.
It
really.
is. Yeah, absolutely. Joe takes a 2-1 win, but how interesting there that a lot of things that you've heard from Moyes, you've heard from Louis van Gaal. Very
Can we
similar
play
things
the
since.
same game next week, but with Fergie versus LVG quotes?
Christmas Eve next week. If you think I'm working that, Nick,
What the week after?
In the new year,
Yeah.
for you, we'll bring it. I'll have a look into it. We'll do Fergie versus LVG.
Part
Part
make any
2.
mistakes on them
This is
ones.
going to become a big clash. Joe versus Nick, quote quiz.
Second leg.
Yeah, second leg, the away
I've
leg.
got the away goal, so.
There you go. 2-1 to
I
Joe.
don't think that's how it works.
Nick hoping as much as United do in Europe at the moment, but that was good.
We're going to win the
so
league.
We will.
Europa League. It's happening. It's on. We're going to historic moment. We're going to actually win the
We've
Europa
still got
League.
the bet on with Chris as well for Wayne Rooney, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, Chris has got Rooney to score 3 hat tricks or more during the season. We've gone for less, obviously, which is what's going to happen. And we're actually meeting him at the Bournemouth game at Old Trafford last day of the season. Whoever loses buys the pints.
Cool.
I hope he knows he's got a pint on it each with me and you.
Not half a pint each.
No, we'll have to tell him this when we next speak to him.
We're getting back on if you want.
Yeah, give him a ring now. I'm going to move on to some news that was outed as fake yesterday. It was blowing up all over Twitter. It was the news of the banner coming to Old Trafford. Thankfully, it was outed as fake by a company. But I put a question out there with a poll during the week. If you were daft enough to buy a banner to fly over Old Trafford, what message would you send to LVG?
Philosophy.
Well, that wasn't one of the options of the 4. I put out there attack, 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 which was the winner with 44%. 22% with, hey, pay attention to us. 20% went Louis van Gaal out. And 14% went, yes, we go for it.
I thought there was another one there.
Well,
Go away in May. I thought that was one of them.
no, I'm afraid not.
I
Good
would-
suggestion,
I would have
though.
had that
I mean,
one.
I heard
If you're going to buy one,
the last game I
go
went
with that
to,
one.
Go
I
away
heard a
now.
fan chanting defend, 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 defend. It's getting to that point where it's just becoming ridiculous to watch. I'm not going on Saturday.
no, you're not.
don't blame
I'll leave my ticket. I'm willing to. I paid for the ticket, but I'm not stressing
Give it
myself
to
out
a
anymore.
homeless person.
I mean, might keep them warm for a bit longer.
I don't know. It's quite cold in there at the moment, isn't it? I don't know if I'd bother. You don't want to bore the poor guy. He's having it bad enough as it is.
No, I just think it's more stressful to go and watch the game. I've fans next to me punching my chair. I'm a bit worried, to be honest, for my own safety.
That might be Kev. We'll have to have a word with him as well.
there is
Give
Kev.
him a call back. Let him know to stop punching your chair.
I will. I'll get them all on.
Nick, I want to move on then to a point that I know you wanted to have a quick chat over. I know we've covered some of the ground, but you had your sort of prediction time on the managerial merry-go-round that started swinging again during the Christmas period. Do you want to talk predictions on where do you think we'll be by the summer? You know, which managers will be where? What are you sort of thinking at the moment? I know you've put your thoughts out there on Twitter, but
My opinion's changed.
Go on.
If I'm being honest.
What we're
since
looking
last
at?
week. Well, I always said I wouldn't sack a manager mid-season. I said that to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's changed now. I think if we get the same rubbish against Norwich and it's not convincing, I'd be looking to shift him on before January. And I'd do all I can to get Mourinho in. Obviously, this is confirming that Pep's going to City, which I suspect he is. So once Pep's definitely confirmed he's going, I'd do all I could to get Mourinho in before January.
So how do you see this sort of cycle starting? Is it's down to Pep's decision first, and you?
Yeah, I'm fed up with
LVG.
LVG. If I'm being honest, I'm fed up with the football. I don't agree with fans that say you have to support the manager all the way, because they were the same fans that were chanting David Moyes out and probably chipped in towards the banner.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. I think I want what's best for the club, not what's best for LVG. I'm sick of the football. We've had it for 18 months. It's boring. It's rubbish. It doesn't work.
Let's go through the triggers then of what's going to cause.
He's done what
what
he had to do. You know, he got us into top 4.
Yep.
That's looking again like he's on about winning the league in 3 years. We're miles away. We're not going to win it in 3 years within his time frame.
Talk me through your predictions then.
It
all starts with Pep going from Bayern. You're saying he goes to City.
I think Pep will confirm that he's linking up with City, with Tixty Bergestein, who I mentioned earlier, who he was at Barca with. I think that'll be confirmed.
Who goes to Bayern?
Ancelotti will go to Bayern.
Okay.
I think that will then leave, obviously, Jose, who will be, with the type of man he is, he will want a job straight away back in the Premier League. He'll want to prove everyone wrong. He's still a top manager. You don't go a bad manager in one season.
So you're not thinking he takes a break, waits for something like PSG or Portugal to come up. You're thinking he goes straight in for the Premier League again.
For the Premier League, yeah. He's not the type of guy.
And you're thinking United.
Yeah,
pressure on Van Gaal to go.
If you're a man who declares himself the special one, and you get sacked before January for a club you just won the league with, there is no way you're going to go to another country. He's going to want a Premier League job, whether that be United or whether it be, I don't know, even someone like Arsenal. If Wenger left, but I doubt that's going to happen. He could even go to City. You know, if we ended up getting Pep, it's such an unpredictable 6 months to predict right now.
If Pep goes to City, what happens to Pellegrini?
I think they just get rid. I don't think they're that concerned about Pellegrini long term. He's in the same boat as LVG.
It's a shambles, really, isn't it?
It's a total shambles. He's in the same boat as LVG's in his mid-60s. City aren't going to be scared about a payoff to him. They'll get rid. If Pep's available, Pep won't leave Bayern mid-season, though. So Pep is going to be the summer. But the thing that you mentioned earlier when I was talking to you about this, if you go for Pep, you want a written guarantee contract, pre-contract that he's coming to you.
Absolutely.
You don't want a word saying I will come to you, and then 6 months down the line he goes to City and you're left with no Jose, no Ancelotti.
Absolutely.
So obviously the way my stance of it is, if Pep's not available and Ancelotti isn't, Jose, we have to go for him before January. We have to just get rid of LVG and get him in, or we might lose him.
And final prediction for the managerial merry-go-round: where does Brendan Rodgers go?
Nowhere at the moment. I'm surprised.
It's a job going at the chippy round the corner.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's being linked with the Chelsea job. They're not going to do that. They're in a massive crisis at the moment.
Thinks he's too big for Swansea, though.
I know, which is a little bit worrying for a man who isn't that good a manager. He
seemed to be his level. He excelled at Swansea. He did a good job there.
He's another David Moyes. For every David Moyes is another David Moyes. A guy who manages a middle club, thinks he's bigger than that, goes to a big club, doesn't do very well, but suddenly still thinks he's with the big boys. Like I remember reading David Moyes saying that he's only waiting for an attractive offer before he starts management again. It's like you've had 2 massive failures as a manager. You're in no position to deny a job. If someone like Bournemouth come along, you go for it. You know, he's going to get you back on the managerial ladder. So. Absolutely.
Going to fire into question time. We put out there a tweet earlier in the week saying if you've got any questions, serious or funny, United related or not, football related or not, we weren't bothered, fire any questions at us and we'll try and give you an answer to them. So I'm going to fire through them very quickly. I'd like to eventually, Joe, I think we should introduce a nice little background bed for this as well, almost sort of like as serious as the BBC question time, so we'll have a look into that. But let's fire through some of the questions we got in and see what your opinions are. I'm going to get your opinion on this first of all, Joe, if we come to you. At Sayafik Arabi says, when will LVG get the sack? We've not heard much from you because of the frantic fan takeover we had, so I'm just going to ask you on this one. When do you think LVG will get the sack?
When do I think LVG will get the sack? There you go.
Put the keyboard away, Joe.
Something there for you.
Tad late, but you.
I was doing it while talking, so even better.
Let's focus on the question for now. We'll sort out the music on this for the new year. When will LVG get the sack, in your opinion?
LVG, when will they get the sack? I don't know. I'd like to think now, or tomorrow. Swap with Chelsea. That would have been a good idea, wouldn't
Chelsea swap. That
it?
been an interesting
LVG to Chelsea, and Mourinho to United. So, well, I mean, I don't really like the idea of Mourinho at United because I just think that it just caused so much trouble. I think we could attract better footballers for it. I think that more people would want to play under Mourinho. I think these players like Hazard, who probably would want to come, maybe. I don't know if we'd want Oscar, but I think he's quite Mourinho loyal.
Do you think Hazard would come back if Mourinho was in charge of United after the recent fallout that there seems to have been there?
No.
I think that's rubbish. I think Mourinho wanted to leave. I think we have to agree there that I think out of what we saw, I think it was a tiny bit of an act. You can't get that many players playing that bad. You don't turn Hazard into that player over a year. I think Hazard wants to go.
Right.
I think Mourinho wanted to go, and they're both going to get a payoff from it. And like you say, going into Christmas, I forget the figure. You
been constantly linked
12
with Madrid.
mil.
12 million of just for leaving a job and just being bad at it. I think he wanted to go. I personally think we'll see him in PSG in the summer. I think that's where we'll see him.
Okay.
I don't think he's going anywhere else.
There's Joe's thoughts on that one. Thanks very much for the question.
I think
Nick?
it's a Norwich game.
Yeah, it could well be.
I think if we get beat and it's not convincing, I think he's gone. I think that's what we saw what happened to Mourinho today. Chelsea will be looking at United will be looking at that. The same way. I think if we say we get beat 2-1 by Norwich,
yep,
he's gone.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
He has to win that game.
That's the pressure he's on at the moment.
That'd be the answer to the question.
Do you want to lose the Norwich game in that sense then?
No.
You never want to lose a game.
Of course I don't know.
Would you?
I'd rather we go out and win 4-0 and LVG turns it round and we win the league.
Yeah.
But I'm being a realist. It's not going to happen. Would I throw a game? No chance. No. I'd expect every player to go out there and give 150%. But
there you go.
We'll find out. I'm sorry.
Nick, quick one for you. We're going to fire through because we've got quite a lot of these questions to get through, so we'll just get quick answers.
Yeah.
At Serious One says, do you guys think Chelsea could get relegated? What are your thoughts on that?
Anyone can get relegated. Do I think Chelsea? No, they won't.
Who do you think will get relegated quickly whilst we're on it? Anyone got 3 teams to think will go
Sunderland.
down?
Newcastle, Villa.
No, Villa aren't going anywhere.
I think Villa are massive trouble. They've got a manager who's got no experience in the Premier League.
So you're going Villa?
Squad's very light. Villa, I still think Newcastle are in big trouble, even though they've won 2 on the trot.
And if I push you for a third?
I hate to say it, but probably someone like Bournemouth. I think quality will tell eventually, and they are not a good team.
Okay, Joe, who are your 3?
I think it's fairly obvious. I mean, I can't see Villa going down because they've got a bit of depth to them. I think these players sat on the
have
bench.
to stop performing.
Well, you've got players like Traore who've come from Barcelona.
I'll bet you Villa go down this year.
Well, go on then. I'll have a fiver on that.
Fiver on that?
I'll metaphorically shake your hand.
They've been hovering around it for season after season.
That's a big handshake going down through the window there.
But
whole £5.
You've got a fiver coming your way end of the season.
Other than that,
they're going then, mate. Really are.
Other than that, any other 2 teams?
I don't really.
If I was to push you,
probably.
Well, you're not going Villa, so who are your 3?
Sunderland, Bournemouth, and Watford. I think that's what's
Sunderland
going.
will stay up.
No,
Big Sam's there now. They'll stay up.
no.
My
chance.
3, Villa going down as bottom. 100% think that. I also think if Newcastle keep hold of McLaren, that they'll go down. And I'm going to go for Norwich.
Yeah.
Norwich
Norwich
are in,
I agree.
Norwich are in free fall at the moment.
Yeah,
in my
I just
opinion.
think Villa are in massive trouble. The squad's not very good. They've signed a manager who's got no experience. They've been hovering around it for seasons. They're in huge trouble.
Yeah. Okay, at Dipak Siani, I'm just going to answer this one because I've had a lot to say on this and I'm going to answer it really quickly. Sorry to fly through your questions, but he asks, should we carry on playing with a double pivot in 4-2-3-1 or move to a 4-3-3, which will allow midfielders to join attacks, or even should we perhaps go to 4-4-2? In my opinion, I would go 4-3-3. I think it was the formation that's brought most success to Louis van Gaal and the squad we've got. I think you've got to make the best of the squad we've got, and I think in a 4-3-3 you've got Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin. You could have still as a holding 2 within the 3, but you can also introduce someone like Ander Herrera, who'll bring a little bit more drive from midfield.
Fluidity.
Yep, and you've got a solid midfield because he can do the job in terms of tackling. He's not a defensive midfielder per se, but he can play the role. We've
Terrific point, Andy.
seen him what he's done at Chelsea. Thanks very much, Nick.
Is Smalling coming back for the next year? Is he fit?
Apparently, yeah. He's
Where are we
fit.
up to with Herrera?
Touch and go.
He's fit. He's training.
He is. He is training.
So we could see this coming a bit.
I think
a better lineup.
I think it'll be sub bench for the both of them.
I think
Fraila,
ultimately, though,
will he be there still?
Yeah,
he'll be there. Oh, great.
Yeah, I'd go 4-3-3 though in response to that question. Couple more to fire through very quickly.
Ooh, a very
we are got
repetitive
loads
question here.
So Tim Peake is now in space. This is from Chris Clay. If you could blast something...
I don't know who it was from.
No, it's incredible, isn't it? If you could blast something United-based into space, what would it be and why?
Wayne Rooney.
There you go. Louis van Gaal's board.
Do you know, I don't know. We could blast Louis van Gaal in a general direction, hoping he lands on the sideline with a bit of
You could blast Van
passion.
Gaal in general, but I'd rather his board go. That's my sort of problem with him at the moment.
Well, anything.
Anything United.
Just throw them all up there. Just send them all up, give them a shake and send them back down.
Just going to quickly fire through Tweet of the Week. I haven't got time to go through the contenders because we've got the weekend preview to wrap up the show. But I'm going to give it to actually someone who had a bit of a dig at United, but it was festive based, so I'm going to give it them anyway. It was at Share Size or Share Sirise. Don't know how you're pronouncing that one.
Share Cerise?
Yeah, something like Share Cerise. We'll go with that.
Share Cerise.
We're giving it to you, whoever you are. I hear they're selling these new Man United sleighs for Christmas. Apparently nothing goes downhill faster than them.
Apart from those Chelsea ones.
Apart from the Chelsea ones, which are also going downhill very quickly. I thought it was a good one. That I can take a bit of stick from fans. So, fair comment. Nicely done. But Tweet of the Week goes to you. We could do again in the new year. We'll introduce some more... we need the drum track, the badumts.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me. Yeah,
I'm giving you a lot of work in the new year, Joe. We're going to push you. We know you've got it. We're gonna push those producing skills to the limit in the new year. It's going to be great.
I've already brought my keyboard in this week. What else do you want?
Blatantly playing Football Manager behind there.
He has got a lot of screens going, so.
Well, yeah, we'll have to take a picture of him later, and we'll see which one appears on.
Yeah. Definitely. Right, I think that's all we've got time for in the news of the social world, unfortunately. I haven't had a chance to go through all the questions because we are a bit pushed for time, but thanks ever so much for everyone who got involved in asking questions there. Great little feature. Going to end the show and the year with the final weekend preview as Norwich come to Old Trafford. I've got to say, I've had more fun this week than perhaps in the other 19 weeks that we've been doing this show, Nick. It's been a good laugh tonight.
It's very light-hearted.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I think we should look to go in this direction more in the new year, to be honest with you. It's just a lot more...
I mean, what else do you expect? There's not much happiness going around.
Exactly.
So he's not bringing his keyboard again.
We might as well spread some... No, he's not bringing his keyboard, but we might as well spread some happiness. It's been a tough time at the moment, so... Might as well have a bit of a good time with it.
And now back to the misery.
Yep. Weekend preview. Manchester United, Norwich, 3:00 on Saturday. Just having a quick look at the way things currently sit. United are currently sat fourth in terms of home form at the moment. So Old Trafford has been treating us well this season. We haven't lost, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, since the West Brom game back in May, I think that was.
Probably not won many either.
No, 3 wins and 3 draws in the last 6. I think 4 and 3 overall. So it's been a bit of a pick and mix, but not too much disappointment in there, thankfully. I mean, Nick, do you still see Old Trafford as a fortress under Van Gaal? Has it changed that dramatically?
No, we've not been a fortress since Fergie was here. I've said it ages ago. The thing with having a fortress is it takes years to build that reputation, and 1 season, 10 matches to destroy it. That's how on a knife edge it is. It was destroyed and ruined under Moyes. Teams used to turn up, teams like Fulham, and just throw everything at us. Then the same team, Fulham, would go to City and get walloped 5-0. And part of that is because they were scared to play City because of the players they had, like Aguero and Silva, which is totally understandable. No, we've not got. I've said mentioned it previously. We've not got a fear factor, and you can't have a fortress without a fear factor.
What is it then that's brought back better home form then than we'd had previously?
Effort. I think every player that goes out there, that's one thing I will give to Van Gaal. Under Moyes, I question the passion and the effort of players, but now every player does give 100%, you know, barring probably a couple that I won't mention.
I think we all know who you're mentioning.
Yeah, but no, 90% of them do give everything to it and they'll fight for the cause. And they might not be good enough, which is not their fault. They shouldn't be at United in the first place, but if they are playing for United, they do give everything they got.
Yeah.
And like you said, I know it's a better form this year, but it's not a lot of wins. I think a lot of draws in there.
There are a lot of draws, and there's a lot of unnecessary points dropped there. I mean, the West Ham comes to mind most immediately, and Newcastle, obviously, earlier on in the season.
Swansea.
Yeah, these 0-0 games, though, at home, they're
the games you should be winning.
They're big points dropped, aren't they?
It adds up.
Now, Norwich are 19th in the form table, you'll be happy to hear, in terms of their away form. In the last 6, 2 draws and 4 defeats on the bounce away.
Yep.
18th, of course, in the league, currently in free fall. John Ruddy, of course, out of form. He's been dropped in recent weeks from goal. Their best keeper, but he's been dropped. Can Norwich realistically provide any threat to us currently, Nick? And if so, where do you see it coming from?
Where's Houlihan? I think he's very good. Cameron Jerome, I think on his day, you know, with the providing with service, he's got a good shot on him. I think he'll cause us problems, and I think Nathan Redmond is always going to cause problems very fast. But no, they're not a good team. We should be steamrolling them 4 or 5-0, but we won't. I hope I'm wrong.
I think, like you say, Nathan Redmond's a big one, and especially with Borthwick Jackson likely to start again left back. You've got a big.
If you're the Norwich
problem
manager, you'll be aiming at the pace of Redmond to open United up, because we don't have any pace. We've mentioned that in previous weeks. And I think on a one-on-one race between Redmond and Borthwick Jackson, we know there's only going to be one winner, sadly. And if he does get in behind our back line,
Redmond could win that race twice over, couldn't
I think he could probably lap him, go back and say hi and run back again, And I just think if Redmond gets in behind our back line, manages to get a few good crosses in, you know, Cameron Jerome's always going to be a threat. I think they got Mbakani, I think he's called.
Yeah.
He's good in the air as well. Wes Houlihan's creative, nifty little player, you know, decent footballer. They shouldn't be causing us any threat, but they will if Mike's not playing. We should be steamrolling them, but we won't. That's pretty much what you can really say. Yeah.
A couple of stats from Norwich's side of things. We all know where United are at. 18 goals scored for Norwich this season. Not too bad for where they are in the league, but 28 conceded. Goals haven't been scored too freely by them. Only 4 in their last 6, but they have been slightly better defensively since the Newcastle game, where, of course, they got an absolute drubbing. When you consider against the teams that they're losing by the odd goal against, Nick, I know obviously everyone jokes about Chelsea, but lost by the odd goal at Stamford Bridge, 1-0. Lost by the odd goal thanks to a John Ruddy error away at the Etihad against City. Drew against Arsenal at Carrow Road. These are some decent results against the big teams they're pulling out.
It's easy to play against the big teams because no one expects you to win. That's probably why the good results. The players went out there, gave it everything. No one expected anything of them. The crowd was probably behind them. The thing with teams that get relegated in the Premier League, a lot of the reason behind it is because they get beat by teams around them that they should be. There should be the games they should be giving 150% to. But if you're Norwich and you're playing Aston Villa at home,
they're the big games.
Yeah, you might get beat 2-0, but then the week after you'll go to the Etihad and you'll draw 1-1.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's easy to get motivated for the big boys.
It is, yeah. They are the so-called, as I say, 6-pointers against the likes of Aston Villa teams around
in the Premier League.
Yeah, but these are the games, as you say, that they often do, pick their game up for.
And they will pick it up.
They of course they will.
The FA Cup final on Saturday.
It's every team's FA Cup final. These sort of games. You're absolutely right. How can we threaten them then? We've joked during the fan takeover about United's lack of chances created. How do we get at Norwich? They have been defending slightly better. They've brought in Rudd in goal, who's like the devolved version of Ruddy. But how do we threaten their defence? You know, they'll obviously come to defend at Old Trafford and spring on the counter, as many teams do these days. How do we get at them?
Pace, power.
And where's that
passing,
coming from?
Nowhere at the moment. We've still got very good players. I think if Martial is provided with service, he will score goals. He might take a couple of chances at the moment because of how young and raw he is. But I think if you do get balls into him, he will score. So I think he's a massive threat for them. I hate to say it, but I'd probably play Microphone Ed. I think if you chuck him in against them, he's going to cause problems for a team like Norwich all day long. They hate playing against players like that. So I think I'd probably chuck microphone head in there.
What team would we put together then, Nick? I know we've got a lot of injury concerns at the moment and a lot of ifs and buts on fitness, but
obviously Dave's in net for both of us.
Obviously, of course, yeah. I think Varela's going to have to play right back again.
I've been
from
very
what we
impressed with him. I've got no qualms with him playing at right back. Obviously, if Mike's fit, I'd just throw him straight back in.
It's going to be worrying if he isn't, really, because McNair, of course, picked up some form of injury as well.
Mike could want to play as well just to get his match. It's a good game to come back
although
to.
Although he's not going to possibly even be fully fit, if there's a chance he can
60
play,
minutes out of
he
him.
has to play.
It's a good game to come back. Norwich at home. It's not Liverpool away, so it's a...
Blynn's going to slot him next to him then.
Yep. We're talking left back. We're talking the
Borthwick
rapid Jackson.
He's going to have to stay there because, of course, Rojo has taken the option of having surgery, hasn't he?
He said it was getting worse every match.
Yeah, and obviously we're missing Luke Shaw and we have no other options because Blind is now playing centre-back.
Yeah, philosophy.
There you go. It's a process.
He wanted a small squad. Yeah, and midfield, I'd probably go for a trio in midfield. I'd want to crowd it out there, so players like Houlihan, and I think Tete's still there, can't get him.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Can't get any influence on the game, so I would pack the midfield and make sure we do dominate the ball, which we are.
Which three are we getting in midfield?
I'd have Schneiderlin.
Is Schneiderlin back?
Yeah, he's back.
Pretty much back. I know he was fit. He was on the bench for Bournemouth, and there were a lot of rumours saying he was fit. So we throw him in.
I'd have Carrick and Fellaini.
Because Schweinsteiger, of course, he's
banned. Yeah, if Basti was fit, he would have been ahead of Carrick.
So we're putting Carrick in, and Fellaini makes it into the midfield.
Makes it for me. I never thought I'd say that. Yeah.
Well, there you go. And then three up front then.
Yeah, I played Mata in the middle, behind the front, and I'd have two up front.
Okay, so this is a 4-3-1-2.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Because I think in terms of...
Have we got two to play up front?
We've not got... The wingers aren't good enough at the moment, so I wouldn't bother playing them. Matta's not very good on the wing. He operates better in the side.
So Matta's in the 10.
Well, we saw the pass he did for Martial to score.
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment. It was one of the
few
in the game.
I've said previous weeks he needs a run in the team at the number 10 position. So for me, Matta would be at number 10.
Now, obviously, Martial fits one of the attacking roles. Yeah. Who's the other?
Memphis. I'd probably throw him in there.
Over Rashford?
Rashford I'd probably bring on if Memphis was doing nothing around the 60-minute mark, give a debut to.
Okay.
That'd probably be my team.
Let us know your team. Get in the comment section below. Get at We Follow United on Twitter as well. Let us know what team you want to see play. Let's end the Christmas show and the year, of course, with the score predictions for the upcoming Norwich game, and that means welcoming back producer Joe to do so.
Do we have to?
We have to. Let's hope he's not brought his keyboard with him. Joe, you finished playing your game of Football Manager?
Just about halfway through.
Right, okay, lovely.
Sorry.
What are you playing?
Claire de Lune, isn't it?
Well, I've got a bit of music on in the background. Got my fire on in the studio.
It's lovely.
I've got it's United versus Norwich, and I'm losing 4-0.
Oh, fair enough, mate.
Right.
It's half of that.
Okay.
Cheers.
You've just lost some points there. Nick, we're not going to give Joe a chance to change that. He's going...
No, excuse me.
Go on then. What are we going for?
For my score prediction, what would I like to do? I would like to hope that United... Do you know what? I'm not there, so, I won't be able to get angry at it. So, we can't lose at home to Norwich. Surely not. In the position we're in...
Famous last words.
We cannot lose at home to Norwich. And I'm going to play this back in January if this hits me in the face. But...
If you've jinxed this,
I think
there will be hell to pay.
Do you know what? It's going to be so boring, and it's going to be a second half.
What makes it more depressing is that piano still going on in the background.
I know, I'm multi-talented.
Don't worry, no one will be listening to us at this point.
If you are still listening to this supposed festive edition of the Chronicles, my apologies.
So, I'm going to go for a second half tremendous goal. Just to make it 1-0 United.
1-0 United.
Borthwick Jackson, 40-yard screamer.
That'd be beautiful. I'll take that.
A bursting run from the halfway line.
Borthwick Jackson.
Yep.
Lee's Redmond for dead.
Yes.
Okay, let's see that happening. Okay, Nick.
Go back over here now.
Score prediction for you as Joe fades out and continues playing his piano in the background.
1-0 United for Fellaini to score.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to go slightly brighter, but not a great deal. I'm going to go Manchester United 2, Norwich 0.
So we sticking with 1-0 here, Nick?
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun game. It's going to be boring.
Looking back on my score prediction for, was it Bournemouth? I just finished work and I hadn't heard the score. And I sent you a text saying 2-0, and Bournemouth were leading 1-0.
One stat.
To be fair, you did get it in after the start of the game.
But
so.
I didn't. I just finished work.
I
turned the
guarantee a
radio
Norwich
on,
player
and
will get man of
they,
the match.
they hadn't mentioned the Bournemouth goal, so I was listening to the game. And
No
I
one got
thought,
any points if it helps, Joe. Everyone went for United win,
Well,
so don't worry
I
about
can
it.
only imagine.
I think I went for the draw, but no one got any points. Nick, you just said something in the background there that interested me. It was something about a Norwich player man of the match?
Yeah,
Olsen.
every team you play against, an opposition player gets man of the match, not United.
Right.
You see, Bournemouth did it. Norwich will do it. The sort of
no
player,
one deserves man of the match out of the games I've watched. I
Someone
don't
like
think we can pick
Russell
one.
Martin, he'll just turn up and he'll just get man of the match, and you'll just be there like, okay, cool.
Well, is there a United player that deserves man of the match?
No, and there's a reason for that.
Well-
we make average players look good.
Well, exactly.
What a statement to go out with.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. What a year 2015's been. We started, of course, the podcast back in May. We've had a lot of great fun with it, and we hope to continue with the theme of fun going into the new year, just to quell the pains of what we've been watching on the pitch. Thanks as ever for listening to the show. It's been great to have you as part of it. Thanks to the fans, Chris and Kev, for getting involved in the great chat that we had earlier. That was great fun.
I mean, thank you guys for providing such entertainment for them. I don't think anyone...
I don't know if you could say that.
I'm not, well, you know what? No,
we trip over some things happen, some things, they don't hit at all.
I mean, I'm just here to press buttons, so...
You've done a great job.
You have as well, so there you go.
So thanks to everyone. Thanks to the guy who's got the vacuum cleaner just in the hallway there as we end. Thanks very much, pal.
Is he coming in?
He's doing a cracking job cleaning the hallway
He can
for
come
us.
in if he wants.
If he does come in, to be fair, it is a bit
messy.
It's a bit grubby in it.
Turn on a microphone.
Perhaps we
button.
should invite him in.
Summon him. See what he thinks about United.
But we should end here. As I say, thanks to you both. It has been a great year for the podcast. We hope for another great year going
Cheers for all the
forward.
brilliant points, Andy, throughout the year.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for all your good points as well.
We're going to get rid of them compliments. They're gone. I won't bring my piano again.
And guys, if you agree or want to get involved in any of the debates that we've had on Twitter, me, Nick and Joe are always knocking around if you want to have a debate over anything. At We4United on Twitter, in the comments section below. Get involved, always interested to hear your point of view. So let's hope then this weekend that as we invite the Canaries to Old Trafford, that a win is on the cards to celebrate Christmas. We wish you all the best and we'll see you in the new year.